You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Buddha said this, emphasizing the importance of living a peaceful life. In today's world, emotional storms and daily challenges are many and inevitable. Thus, maintaining an inner and authentic peace can seem like a daunting task. Yet there are teachings that can help you live without being influenced and overwhelmed by external changes, and by everything that changes around you and that you cannot control. We will now explore 6 valuable lessons, covering them from both a philosophical and, subsequently, a scientific perspective, so as to have a complete vision of how to approach your life with calm, awareness, and presence. If you like, leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and enjoy. Let's start with a very important concept, which is listen twice as much as you speak. Listening is in fact one of the highest forms of wisdom, and yet today it is a skill that is both neglected and undervalued. Buddha reminded us that to understand everything is to forgive everything. Understanding, when you really practice listening, goes far beyond words. It includes the true essence of what comes from outside. Listening more than you speak certainly means giving space to the other, but also opening up to the world around you, observing nature, and welcoming silence. This practice creates connections that go beyond language, touching emotions, thoughts, and experiences. Every conversation becomes an opportunity for everyone. Authentic listening, the real kind, does not require immediate responses or hasty judgments, but rather allows us to immerse ourselves in other people's stories with humility and respect, to the point of understanding people deeply, beyond their words. This art was also dear to many Stoics. Among all of them, Marcus Aurelius, in exhorting attentive listening, maintained that understanding others also meant understanding oneself without imposing judgments. They suggest that every interaction then becomes an opportunity for growth and openness towards the inner world of others. Nowadays, we can put these teachings into practice by starting to practice really listening to a friend, a girlfriend, or a dear relative. How? Just give him your full attention without interrupting or immediately thinking about what to answer. Concentrate only on what he says. Observe his expressions. Let him finish speaking. It is a simple but powerful exercise to understand the other person deeply without haste or judgment. The second lesson invites us to be ready to accept the worst. Buddha, in one of his reflections, said that pain is certain, suffering is optional, reminding us that life brings with it ups and downs, challenges, and moments of uncertainty. This does not mean constantly expecting the worst, but rather developing an inner strength that allows you to face life with the right amount of serenity. In short, we could say that we should always be ready, aware, and flexible. An ancient Zen saying teaches that true wisdom is like water. It flows, it adapts, but it does not break. With this mindset, one could live remembering that nothing lasts forever and that this difficulty too will pass. In this way, acceptance becomes a key to living with less anxiety and more awareness without turning pain into a burden. Stoic philosophy also follows a similar principle. Epictetus taught that when we find ourselves involved in unexpected events or situations that we cannot change, instead of reacting with frustration, we should remain calm and concentrate our thoughts on what we can actually influence from that moment on. At the heart of these teachings, both philosophical and scientific, is the idea that accepting what we cannot change is the secret to living a life less influenced by external events. Today, we can take these lessons to heart by learning not to worry too much about what we cannot change and to focus instead on how to respond calmly to every situation. Let's move on to the third principle. Don't be afraid to fail. Every day represents an opportunity for rebirth. As the Buddha reminded us, what we do today is what matters most. Every mistake is a step towards a more conscious version of yourself. The essence of personal growth is this: turning failures into steps towards resilience. Considering failure as an integral part of existence allows you to face the path with less fear, developing the courage necessary to experiment with new paths and accept the inevitable obstacles. Every stumble, in fact, teaches that the path of personal growth is continuous, full of challenges, but also of possibilities. Those who embrace failure find in it a precious teacher. This vision is also shared by the Stoic Seneca, who described failure as an opportunity for improvement. In short, considering mistakes as a natural element of life allows us to develop an inner courage that makes every obstacle lighter. Today, more than ever, we can take these lessons and use them to build a better life. Every time we fall, we should take a few moments to look for the opportunity that might be behind it. Nothing happens by chance, and that opportunity could be worth its weight in gold. The fourth teaching invites us to keep it simple. We often get overwhelmed by a constant search for material satisfaction, accumulating things and commitments that in the long run undermine our inner well-being. The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart, said Buddha, alluding to the importance of cultivating an essential life centered on true values. Simplicity, in this sense, represents a conscious choice of subtraction. Eliminating what is superfluous allows us to make room for what really matters. The essential, in fact, brings with it a peace that only a heart free of useless burdens can know. Life is enriched paradoxically when we let go of what is not needed, giving value to what nourishes the soul and the mind. This call for simplicity is also present in Stoic philosophy. Once again, Seneca recommended avoiding the superfluous and dedicating one's time to what nourishes the soul. Choosing simplicity means freeing yourself from what weighs you down to make room for the essential and find authentic peace. Living with the bare necessities paradoxically leads to inner wealth, fostering a deeper connection with oneself and with what is truly important. Today, we can take advantage of these teachings by consciously choosing a simple life, moving away from the superfluous and focusing on a more genuine life. The fifth principle focuses on not allowing other people's comments and attitudes to influence your life. More and more people around the world recognize that life is a unique journey, in which each person is responsible for their own choices and the direction to take. As several Eastern philosophies suggest, it is essential not to dwell in the past and not to dream of the future, but to concentrate on the present. Along this path, you will meet people with different opinions, sometimes critical, who can easily divert you from your path. Of course, listening to others is a very important concept, as we said before, but it is essential to remember that everyone has their own truth. I mean, you should always follow your heart and stay true to your values. This is the basis of an authentic and independent path. External influences can enrich, but they should never make you lose sight of what you really want for yourself. The key is to welcome other people's opinions without deviating from your own inner compass. Epictetus reflected on this, underlining how true freedom lies in inner autonomy. Staying on track, without being influenced by external judgments, is what allows you to build an authentic and meaningful life. Today, we can take these teachings to heart by focusing on the present, with a long-term vision, listening to others, and never losing sight of ourselves. The sixth important teaching encourages us to practice humility. True wisdom lies not so much in words, but in the actions and approach of those who live with openness and serenity. As Buddha said, a man is not wise by talking a lot, but by living calmly and without fear. We can say that humility is the ability to accept one's own limits without wanting to prevail over people. It is a quality that dissolves arrogance and opens to understanding, allowing one to welcome people without judgment. Even the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, considered humility an essential virtue. He reminded us that this quality frees us from the ego and creates deeper and more authentic relationships. Especially in this world, dominated by the need to appear, humility could be seen as an antidote, able to counteract the modern tendency to self-promotion, to aim for appearances with superficiality and an excessive ego. These 6 teachings are a valuable guide for those seeking serenity and meaning in their lives. Each leads to the same goal: a balanced life, less exposed to the influences of external turbulence. But what does science say about this? From a scientific point of view, the principles of listening, acceptance, simplicity, autonomy, and humility are closely related to mental and emotional well-being, and are supported by research in various fields of psychology and neuroscience. For example, active listening, the first principle covered in this video, is central to cognitive psychology and communication. Numerous studies show that listening empathetically and without judgment not only improves the quality of relationships, but also strengthens the ability to self-regulate emotions. Listening more than you talk helps reduce stress and promotes a deeper understanding of your emotions, which are essential for psychological stability. Science also supports the second principle, acceptance of difficulties, through positive psychology and resilience theories. Studies, such as those conducted by Dr. Martin Seligman, the founder of positive psychology, show that accepting adversity and being aware of one's own limitations increase one's ability to cope with unexpected life circumstances. Science also recognizes the importance of managing failure. Studies in neuroplasticity show that the brain has a remarkable capacity to adapt and grow from experiences, including difficult ones. What we call errors force us to create new synaptic connections in an attempt to resolve and address them. This helps improve learning ability and resilience. Not fearing failure, therefore, allows us to create more flexible brain pathways, predisposing the mind to continuous growth and a conscious attitude. Simplicity, as the fourth principle suggests, has been the subject of studies that confirm how the reduction of complexity and superfluous stimuli contributes to an improvement in mental well-being. The theory of mindfulness, born from the studies of Jon Kabat-Zinn, has demonstrated how living in the present and focusing on the essential reduces anxiety, stress, and allies. The fifth principle finds support in Edward Deci and Richard Ryan's self-determination theory. This theory emphasizes the importance of autonomy and personal freedom for psychological well-being. Not being influenced by external opinions allows you to act authentically, increasing satisfaction and a sense of personal fulfillment. As for the practice of humility, psychologist Daniel Goleman argues that humility allows us to build deeper and more authentic relationships, since those who embrace this quality tend to reduce egocentrism, favoring an openness and availability towards others in an almost natural way. Humility, according to his studies, also strengthens the ability to connect with others. In short, philosophical teachings are not only supported by scientific principles, but also prove to be practical and valid tools for mental well-being. Science offers concrete support to these paths of awareness, demonstrating how each principle, if applied, can enrich the quality of life and provide a solid basis for facing daily challenges. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video of ours. See you soon.